What's happening, film friends? David the Film Junkie here. All right, James Cameron and Tim Miller. Men versus Machine. That's right, the Hollywood Reporter. They had an exclusive, like a whole little event that happened. They were on stage talking to someone from the Hollywood Reporter. And basically just for 45 minutes, they were talking about Terminator 6. And bringing it back. That's right, bringing it back. I mean, we already knew a little bit about this movie, which was basically that they're going to pretty much ignore Terminator 3, Salvation, and Genesis. And we were all like, yay! Terminator 3, is actually had an okay story. It was somewhat different, going after the lieutenants and a little bit of a plot twist at the end and everything. But it's just, there's so much other wrong. I mean, it just looks so B-roll, and Nick Stahl, who played John Connor, seems so out of place. I mean, I tell you what, when it comes to casting, these guys do a terrible job, because between Nick Stahl as John Connor and Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese, the fuck are they doing? They resemble nothing like the original actors. It's like, at least try to capture somebody that looks like the original characters. Jesus Christ. But so we already heard about that, which he does talk about too, which is still funny because he's so promoted Genesis, but we get why. But he did a little talking, and then one of the first questions was, is Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back? And of course, Arnold, this is it's his franchise. You really don't have Terminator without Arnold. I mean, even Salvation didn't really have Arnold, but it had a version. It had that the younger looking and John Fodham, which is actually not that bad. It's just some of the other. I mean, it was Mick G, man, I tell you what. But he explained like what they're going to do, and they're just doing the exact same thing they did in Genesis. I loved how Cameron kind of explained it. Like, oh yeah, this is a machine, right? And the machine's in working order. It's got a power cell and everything. But of course, it's got skin. It's got skin on the outside. So of course, it's going to be aging. I'm going, yes, that's exactly what they did in Genesis, dude. This is nothing new. That's fine. You could capitalize on this. But I thought I heard the idea that we're actually going to meet the man who they're basing the T-800s off of. I was hoping he was going to talk about that, and we're going to have Arnold play that character as opposed to an aging Terminator. That part, starting off, I was like, oh, God, really? You're going to do that? All right there, bud. And then they, of course, asked him about, okay, obviously, it was easy to get Schwarzenegger back because, that's just his thing. He was already excited. And then they're, of course, asked, like, well, what was it like getting Linda Hamilton back? And they joked around. Tim Miller said, oh, yeah, he was totally frightened. Jim Cameron. And this is what I actually liked seeing. The chemistry between Miller and Cameron was really good. They're dropping F-bombs and everything. They're acting like they were just a couple of buddies up there, which is really good. But he joked around and said, like, it took him a week to get up the nerve to even ask her. But, of course, a lot of websites are using that quote in the headline, and I'm going, he was fucking kidding. He basically just asked her, like, hey, you got to come back and show how it's done. And, let's face it, Linda Hamilton, she's not doing much lately. I don't think she was going to say no at all. So, yeah, so it was pretty, I think it was pretty easy to get her back. And speaking of the whole, showing how it's done, he did talk about, I mean, we're, a lot of posts, of course, we're talking about that he's still sticking to his controversial his controversial quotes about Wonder Woman and how she was over-sexualized. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. He's still sticking to it. But I mean, okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because yes, it's still like when I made a video about it, and I'm going like, yeah, I mean, he made when he made Ripley badass, and he made of course Sarah Connor badass, but he made them dudes. I mean, he basically just took these women and made them dudes. And I totally don't agree with him that a woman can still be sexy and feminine and be badass. I don't agree because he doesn't think that that's a good thing. That she was like, oh yeah, she was wearing those form-fitting costume and everything, and she was just too sexy and blah blah blah. But he still said, hey, that's just my gripe. It wasn't anything groundbreaking when it came to that. It was still a good film. So you know what? That's his opinion, guys. Just leave it be. I mean, a lot of people are still getting on him. I'm just going, yeah, okay, we've already heard this before. He's sticking to his guns, which I totally appreciate that he's sticking to his guns. He's sticking to his quotes. But I know I saw like Collider say something like, oh yeah, he's talking about it's just his male privilege. I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, Jim Cameron, stop mansplaining about Wonder Woman. Why don't you go sit over there and manspread and talk about your male privilege? Shut up, Collider, okay? Big deal. So the guy doesn't think it was anything groundbreaking. He still says he liked the film. So get over it. Yeah. You don't have to agree with him. I don't agree with him because like I said, I think he made Sarah Connor and Ripley dudes. Apparently, him and Tim Miller have been working on these story ideas like a board and everything for the past year. They started in like January, at the beginning of this year. So we didn't know about that. They kept it hush hush, which is really cool. And apparently they have the story that they came up with is just going to have, it's basically going to fit through 3 movies. It's going to be a brand new trilogy for the whole thing. So hopefully it's something good. And basically they didn't, of course, give away any story points. But they're talking about how, how the world is now and how we're addicted to these freaking devices and stuff like that. They're basically going to attack that, I guess. That's what they were talking about. And he even said, like, the machines have already won because we're so addicted to these damn things. And you know what? He's really not wrong. They also asked him about the schedule because he's got Avatar going on. So what's going on with that? Because he's shooting, 4 Avatar films all at the same time that are worth like a budget of $1 billion, which a lot of people are freaking out on. But I'm like, that's 4 movies. That's like $500,000. That's a quarter, $500,000. That's $250 million each, which is perfectly normal. And I mean, I guess if they want to do it, That's fine. Hopefully he comes through, and who knows? But he said he's going to be filming that during the week, and I guess he had something else too. There was something else that he's working on. I totally forgot what it was. But he said he's going to be looking over stuff for Terminator on the weekend. So it's not like he's going to be on set the whole time. He's not going to do double duty. He's going to be working on Avatar. He totally trusts Tim Miller, which was cool. Like I said, they were acting like buddies up there. They were totally just friends, just shooting the shit, talking about how excited they are. And speaking of Tim Miller, a lot of these websites, again, with their freaking headlines, and I just love how there's multiple. They had to like watch this 45-minute interview, and they were just pulling things for like 5 different articles. It was awesome. It was so awesome because it's just like, can we just have just one? That's why I'm just doing one video where I'm just letting you guys all know all the details. But there was like headlines saying like, oh, Tim Miller explains why he exited Deadpool 2. He doesn't. He doesn't really explain anything. He doesn't explain what happened, why he walked off the set. He made a joke like somebody said like, oh, so we could thank Ryan Reynolds for you doing Terminator 6. And then they kind of joked about that, but he didn't explain what happened. He just talked about how like, yeah, with Deadpool, it was great. It was fun. And he was going to do that. But then he's kind of happy that somebody else is going to take, they're going to take the steering wheel with that. So then he could do this because even if he was still doing that, he still wanted to do Terminator 6. He still wanted to attack Terminator because he loved the first 2 movies so much, and he felt like the other 3 movies just really didn't capture these characters the way that they should. And he's totally right. But it's just the fact that they're like, oh yeah, he explains. He doesn't explain shit. He just explains how excited he is for the future of the Terminator franchise, okay? And that's pretty much it, guys. And then, of course, they revealed the release date. I mean, they're going to start filming next year for sure, but the release date is July 26th of 2019. So that's when we're going to get this brand spanking new Terminator franchise. Like I said, I'm on board. I'm really on board. I mean, I was on board when they announced Tim Miller and Linda Hamilton coming back. It's just, and James Cameron being an actual producer, not an executive producer. I'm on board, guys. I mean, the whole, it didn't start off the whole old Terminator thing. I mean, that's kind of just like, okay, you're just using what they did in Genesis, which I guess was the only thing that really worked in that movie. And Genesis like had moments where stuff worked, but I mean overall PG-13 it just is ridiculous. A lot of ridiculous stuff, but that's pretty much all they said about it. I mean, you can watch the interview, just go on the Hollywood Reporter. There's a whole it's like 45 minutes long. It's pretty cool. Like I said, they're just shooting the shit and they're talking about everything, joking around. It sounds like it's gonna be something pretty special. Hopefully it is. I guess we'll find out, guys, in 2 years. Good Lord. Less than 2 years, I guess you could say, but I guess we'll see what happens. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about it down below, guys. What do you think about all this? Are you excited for Terminator, or are you just going, nah, not even going to give it one thought? Why am I even watching this video, Dave? Hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the other channel, too. Follow me on the social media stuff that is above my head. And, of course, I got shirts in the store, or in the closet, I should say. All right, guys. Talk to you later.